peasants actually enjoyed relatively good lives, even though they only owned land hereditary or temporarily and they still had to pay fees. Well, that was until the 14th century. Then conditions grew worse. Population increased greatly, and international economic conditions were terrible for the peasant class. Large quantities of precious metals were drawn from the mines of Peru, Mexico, and Germany, so that the value of money sank about 50% while prices rose. The price of wool was doubled, and the price of merchandise was increased fivefold. On the other hand, leases were not reduced or wages raised, but the lords made up their losses with hard taxes. They annulled the rights of the market associations and only granted the use of woodland, water, and pasture on conditions of heavy rents. But the military needs and the growing costs of the local governments led to an increase of the taxes. This caused great unhappiness in the common people. To those already heavy taxes were also added the so-called imperial taxes, which didn't regard the economic condition of the poor classes at all. The position of the peasants was at its worst in the very small German states, where the landlord was also the sovereign and desired to live like a prince. Not only peasants, but also cities and nobles took part in the Great Uprising. Of the cities, only the smaller ones were connected economically with the peasants. However, large cities like Frankfurt, Würzburg, and Mainz soon joined the uprising too. From the end of the 15th century, great movements for political reform had been in progress, but the selfish policy of the princes destroyed all attempts to strengthen the central power. So the Nuremberg Diet of 1524 had completely removed imperial administration. Political issues were intensified by religious ones. Martin Luther's propaganda had given people hope to rise up using their religious beliefs. His statements about Christian liberty increased those thoughts. The opponents of the new doctrine regarded Luther as the person who started the revolts, while his rebels followed him and said they were only carrying out his teachings. The Great Uprising of the peasants in the second decade of the 16th century began in the southern part of the Black Forest. The revolt was led by Hans Müller of Bolgenbach, and as the rebellion spread over Swabia, Franconia, and Alsace, the power of the rebels steadily grew. They persuaded people to join with the means of promises contained in the so-called 12 Articles, of which the author is unknown. Their demands were economic, social, and religious. Other articles demanded the restoration of old German economic conditions, such as the unions of old marches and the free right of pasturage, fishing, and hunting. They wanted to abolish church norms because Christ made all men free after all. In theory, they had many planned strategies which were however not carried out. So basically the whole uprising flopped. In conclusion, the Peasant War did not make any significant difference. The most it led to were peasants being captured and executed. Only in Baden and the Tyrol were there some reforms introduced. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you liked it.